guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selenia for those who do not know, and in today's video I wanted to do an untraditional style of becoming a registered nurse. I did a video last week on my channel that was talking about the traditional way to become a registered nurse and going step by step, and I figured I'd tell you, oh here she goes, oh my gosh, don't do that. I figured I'd tell you about my untraditional way of how I became a registered nurse. So that's what this video is going to be all about. I put a little blurb in on my last video, but I figured let's do a sit down one, actual one that talks about everything. I think I may have one on my channel, but that one's like 2 years old. We're doing an updated one now, and I have my school on my shirt. So if you guys are interested in learning on how I became a registered nurse, not the traditional way, not doing the 4 years of nursing school, all that stuff, then keep watching this video. And we have our little co-spokesperson here, Storm. We have her, and she's acting naughty. But let's get right on into the video. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna start this video out by saying, you know how you hear like kids in the background, like when you're on a phone call, you hear other people's kids like screaming, making noise? Well, my noise in the background is my child as well, but her name is Storm, and she's a French bulldog. So literally you just saw her, but she makes a lot of noise, and she likes to play with her toys when she sees me filming a video. So don't be surprised if you hear noises, but I'm gonna try to keep her down to a minimum for you. But she's her own person. I just let her be free. Okay, but let's start out with this video. So I am 25 years old. I am so old. Okay, I'm 25 years old and I'm a NICU nurse, and in 2 days I will be a NICU nurse and a registered nurse overall for 2 whole years of like being in practice. I graduated from my nursing program December of 2020, and I took some time off after taking the NCLEX and then decided to start work on February 1st of 2021. So yeah, that's where I am with that. A little background about me. I've only ever done NICU. That's all that I've ever done. That's my only specialty. I saw other ones when I was in nursing school, but I love the NICU, and the NICU is probably where I'm going to stay for a very long time. So yeah, that's where we are with that. So let's rewind to when I was in high school. I went to a high school that had a general high school as well as an academy. The academies, there was like the military academy, med science academy, which we called med sci, communications, or whatever they called it, and there was like a business one. But I just did the regular high school. I knew that I wanted to go into something medical, but I was not trying to make high school extra hard, so I just did like AP classes and stuff like that. But when I was doing my AP classes, they were nothing science related. It was like history and calculus and what was my other one? Something ridiculous really. So I didn't do any of those science things, but I did take my core science classes like anatomy, bio, all that type of stuff. And when I finished high school, I went to a 4-year university called Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. If you guys know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I went there. I started out getting a biology degree. That's what I majored in, and I minored in chemistry, I think it was. It was the basic pre-med route. Let me just tell you that. It was the basic one that everybody does. So then I did bio because I'm like, oh, I want to go to med school. I want to be an OBGYN. I'm like, that's what I really want to do. I want to deliver people's children and bring life into this world and do all of that stuff. And then I took organic chemistry and I did number 1. And I said, oh, you want me to do number 2 too? And I was like, oh no, I need to find a different area that I need to do things for, because I'm not gonna make it. And I've never not done good in school, and organic chem literally took me out and made me change my whole career route. So once I changed that, I ended up changing my degree to a neuroscience degree because I met a professor there, and a couple of my friends had a neuroscience degree. And I wasn't gonna do bio anymore because I wasn't gonna be able to meet the major requirement if I didn't take organic chemistry too, and that scared the life out of me. So I ended up switching my major to neuroscience. What was I gonna do with that? I wasn't sure. But you still take a lot of the core classes that you need to be able to still be in the sciences, because it is a science. Then I started shifting my role to think about physician's assistant school, PA school. And then I was like, do I really want to be a PA, or am I just trying to be a PA just because that's like the next on the list, right? So then I started thinking about like nursing. And at first I'm like, I do not want to be a nurse. Like, I do not want to do all that is required of a nurse. Nurses get a bad rep for one. 2, everyone talks about how overworked they are, how underpaid they are, all the horrible things that they have to go through and to do and to see. And I was like, that is not for me. But then I started giving it some thought, and I started doing some research, and some things that I liked about it was that the versatility. Like if I don't want to stay at one specialty or in one clinic or do one thing, I'm able to switch, which is one thing I wasn't able to do with med school. So I was like, nursing may be good, and then I'm able to be free and only work like 3 days a week instead of like working my whole life. And med school has a lot of debt, and nursing school does as well, especially the route that I took. But compared to med school, it wasn't. I'm like, maybe I won't get paid the best, but I may be happy. And I was like, I'll still be able to be in the sciences. So this is when I started to look at accelerated nursing programs. And I was like, I may not be an OBGYN, but I can be a labor and delivery nurse and still be in the room with the OBGYN, but assisting with deliveries and still being there for everything. So I started looking at accelerated nursing programs because when I decided that I wanted to actually go to nursing school, I probably had like a year left of school. I was probably like a junior in college. And at my college, they do have a nursing program, but why would I like start all the way over for a 4-year program just to do the nursing, and you have to apply and do all that? And I was like, I'm not trying to go back and get another bachelor's degree when I'm literally a year away from my neuroscience degree. If I have to, I'll literally do some research or something with neuroscience and be in a lab doing tests on rats and mice and doing all of that type of stuff if I have to. But let me at least give this nursing thing a shot because it may be for me. I was lost, let me tell you. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Everyone was figuring out what they wanted to do, and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And that is so unlike me. So like junior year of college, the end of that, I was spooked. I was real spooked. So then I ended up applying for the accelerated nursing programs, and then I started seeing that there were some accelerated bachelor's ones. But I'm like, I'm literally just about to get a bachelor's degree in a year. I am not trying to get another one. Like, if I don't have to, and they're literally the same price as like the master's ones, then I don't really want to. You know, I want to get something a little bit that gives me a little more something. Makes me feel like I'm doing something and not like backtracking because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So there was one accelerated master's program in my state of Wisconsin because I wasn't ready to leave home yet. And it ended up being Marquette University. So they have an accelerated master's program. It's an 18-month program where you're able to learn everything that you need for nursing. It's mostly there because so many people are leaving nursing or leaving the bedside that there's a shortage of nurses. So you have to have a degree or have certain prerequisites to be able to attend the program. And with me having a biology major and then switching to neuroscience and then minoring in bio because of how many classes I already took before that, then I was able to get in because all of my prereqs were there. Like you have to take stats and anatomy and phys and chemistry and what else? It was a couple of other classes. I even think organic chemistry 1 you had to take, but you didn't have to take 2. So we were good to go with that. But I was able to get in that. And those are people who want to like switch their field and decide to do something different than what they do before. And that ended up seeming like the best program for me. Now, is it a pretty penny? Are those programs expensive? Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. They were so expensive, like so crazy expensive, but it's gonna be okay. And I feel happy with where I am when it comes to like my choice of doing nursing. But what I decided to do is let's go back. I decided to apply for the program. That's the only program I applied to because I started looking at other accelerated master's programs, and those were out of state, and I wasn't ready to leave home yet. So I applied there, and that's the only school that I applied for. And I like patiently waited for them to give me a response, and I was like, what did they say? Like, they said it's a competitive program, and not saying I'm not good, but like you start to doubt yourself just a little when it comes to your future and like that being your only egg in the basket. Like you want to protect it at all costs. I literally didn't even tell anybody I was applying for those programs until I got in because I was like, I don't need nobody trying to jinx me or wishing ill on me or anything like that. So I applied for the program. I found out in probably like a month or 2 months, I think it was. It was a decent amount of time. I would call up there sometimes and be like, did you get my application? Do you still see me? Are you still considering me? And then I ended up getting the nice little letter with the confetti all in my email saying that I was enrolled in the program. So I ended up having to finish Carthage just a couple of weeks early because I had to start my new program. My option was to start in the summer of 2019 this was? Yeah. It was like to start in the summer of 2019, or my other option was to start in the fall Or I think my other option was to wait until a whole another year to start in the summer because my cohort, I think, started in the summer, something like that. And I was like, no, like I don't want to wait a year. I could do research in a lab for like a year or so if I wanted to, but I don't want to get out in the real world and then have to revert back to going back to school. If I can not do that, I would like to not do that, because once you have the school mode, you're like in the school mode, right? That's all that you've ever known is school your whole life. You went to school since you were 5 years old, 4 years old, because pre-K. But that is when I was like, no, I don't want to stop. So I ended up talking to my professors and ended up finishing a few finals early and presented like my senior thesis right on time. And some of my classes actually ended a little bit early because we were seniors then. So it was like, just get what you need to do and get out of there. So I ended up doing that. I graduated literally the day after I graduated college. And like I walked the stage or however that happened, my new program started. So I made sure I got everything out of the way, but the next day after that, I started a whole new program. Like everyone do a fun fact, and like that was my fun fact. I graduated college yesterday, or it wasn't even yesterday. I think like it was a week into my program, and then I had graduation, and then like the first week of the second week was when I graduated college. And like they're like, what'd you do this weekend? I'm like, oh, you know, just graduated with my bachelor's degree. So yeah, that's exactly what happened, because a couple of people had the same thing that happened to me, and that weekend they had to go back home to graduate and all that stuff. But that's what happened. And then I did my program. My program was 5 semesters. Yeah, 6 semesters. No, it was 5. It was 5, and they were all like 3.5 months each, so that would make it be the 18 months. But the first 2 semesters, summer and fall, were you just learning the core classes of nursing. Like literally the core things that you need to know on how to be a nurse. Yeah, that's what you were learning. So that was like rapid fire, because you did all of that in a small amount of time. Then the other 3 semesters were your master's program semesters. So that was where you're getting all your master's classes, like leadership and ethics and policy and your advanced assessment, your advanced farm, all the stuff that makes you at the master level. That's what you were getting at the other 3 months. So you got the base, but you already had a lot of the base before because of the science class. You just need to know how to be a nurse those first 2 semesters, because it's very different. And then the last 3 were those master's programs. So I did that. I ended up graduating from there. And let me tell you, that program was tough. It was accelerated. It was fast. It was like, you need to be on your toes. We literally had tests like twice a week in every class. It was just like, you need to know these things. And then on spring break of 2020, all right, 2020? Yeah, whenever COVID happened, which is 2020, right? That sounds so silly, but it feels like it's been forever. All right, so then is when I was in Miami for spring break, and I got an email saying that they were going to extend our spring break for 1 more week. I knew that could be no good, because why would they tell us not to go to school? And then they extended it again, and that was when the whole pandemic happened, so everyone knew that. But our last 2 semesters were supposed to be mostly online, so it's kind of hybrid. The first 3 semesters were in person, the last 2 were supposed to be online. So thankfully, those were already supposed to kind of be online. The only thing that we had to alter were our clinicals. We had some online clinicals because we couldn't actually go to the hospital. They didn't want us there. And then the last semester, we were finally able to get a specialty clinical in person, and mine was in the NICU. It was in Children's of Wisconsin, like on a random med-surg unit, but I saw that there was an opening for the NICU, and I was like, can I please switch, because I think I'm interested in that? And they let me have it, and I've been running with that ever since. That's pretty much how I became a nurse. So then I finished all of those programs, and then in December I graduated of 2020. We didn't walk or anything because, you know, COVID. So we didn't get to walk, which was sad, but I was like, I feel like I just walked last year for my undergrad, so we're just gonna say I did it for both. And I had a nice little graduation party. And then I started to have to like hone down and focus on studying for the NCLEX. All right, so we already had a little bit of Kaplan training to prepare for the NCLEX when we were in school our last semester, but it wasn't enough. I needed to study some more. So I had my NCLEX date at one point, and then I ended up pushing it back, I think just 2 more weeks, just so I could feel really comfortable. If I can remember the day, it was December of some time. But I think it was after Christmas. Maybe it was January. I think I did it after Christmas because I was like, I don't want that pressure on me. And I knew during the holidays I would not be studying. So I was like, let me just put it sometime in January. I want to say like January 7th. I'm not sure. So then I ended up passing the NCLEX, obviously, because I'm here as a nurse. And I took the test sometime in January, and I believe it was sometime in January. But I passed the NCLEX in 75 questions. When that screen turned off, I was like, either I'm doomed or I'm a genius. And it turned out I was genius because I did it in 75 questions, which is the shortest amount that you can do them in. And then I ended up telling my job because I was already hired for my NICU job because I had clinical there beforehand. They just needed to see that I actually passed my test. And I did, and then I started work on February 1st of 2020, right? Of 2021. I keep getting the years mixed up. The years are flying by. I couldn't believe that I said I was 25 when I first opened this video. But yeah, so that is what I ended up doing. I ended up getting like a year and a half of experience at a level 3 in Wisconsin. And then I am currently at a level 4 NICU here in Texas. And I've been there since May. So we're at the 8, almost 9 month mark. Almost 9 months. The time is just flying by, and I've learned so much since being there. But this video is all about how I did it the untraditional way. Let me know down below if you guys are going to become a registered nurse the untraditional way too. I will give any advice that I can give you, any type of help, any type of like resources to help you get there, because I really think that it is an amazing profession, and I'm really glad that I ended up picking it. At first I was a little weary. I'm still weary at times when it comes to some of the stuff I have to deal with, but all in all, it is a wonderful, amazing profession, and I would pick it again and again, especially with the patients that I get to take care of and their families. So yeah, these are all the steps on how I became a registered nurse, specifically a NICU registered nurse, and I really hope that this helped you guys. Obviously in nursing school I had my clinicals and all my classes. It was just like a really, really accelerated program to get me where I am today. And if I decide to go get another bachelor's degree, I'm just realizing I'd still be in school. I'd have like a whole year and a half left if they didn't take some of my prereqs. So I'm very thankful with the outlet I was able to have. Thank you for the school, even though you guys cost a lot of money. And yeah, that was probably it. This is probably it for the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment down below, and subscribe to see other content. It's going to be a really good year for us, and I hope everyone becomes nurses who wants to become nurses, who like are really passionate for the job. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, beautiful.